Good morning, everybody. Earlier today I heard an audio clip of Mark Riegert and Jerry Pagel getting very excited at around about 5:45 on the 11th of November 2005 because they just had the DNA results of the blood in Teresa's car and the DNA that was on the key, and they were very excited because of course it pointed to Steve. Interestingly, they refer to the blood on the key, and we know that obviously that wasn't the fact. I suspect that already they were so excited that they had cracked the case that they were already in their own minds adjusting some of the narrative. They refer to going back to look at the pit, where they'd found not just bits of bones but bits of body parts. Again, an exaggeration. They're already so excited that they've got the person they thought it was all along. And it just reminded me of students of mine when they're preparing to do theory tests. In theory of music tests, one of the things that you often have to do in a music theory test is to identify the key signature of a piece of music. Easy, you would think. Well, yes and no. Sometimes it's pretty straightforward, sometimes not so. For example, if you ever open up a piece of music, the first thing you'll notice is that you always have at the beginning of the piece of music a clef. And after the clef you have the key signature, which could either be sharps, flats, or even if there's nothing there, it's the key of no sharps. But I've drawn some examples. There's a treble clef known as a G clef with a sharp sign at the beginning. There's the corresponding bass clef with the corresponding sharp at the beginning. And there the bass clef is known as the F clef. And then we have the alto or tenor clef known as the C clef, again with the sharp sign. So most students looking at that would say that that is the key of G major, and a lot of the time that would be correct. However, unfortunately, there are other suspects, and in order to find out what key it is, you have to dig a little bit deeper, Jerry and Mark Riegert, because if at any point in the tune that was to appear as one of the notes, that is a D sharp. And that would immediately point to a relative of G major, known as E minor. Okay? Now, here's the other interesting thing. If that was the only accidental that you saw, the only bit of evidence of a different key, that would suggest the E harmonic minor. But wait, there's more. If that note of C sharp also appeared, again, we've got an E minor, but in a different form. We now have another relative of G major, which is E minor in its melodic minor form. But not only that, if neither of those are present, let's look at this bass clef one here, which I haven't scribbled on yet. If neither of those sharps are present as accidentals, it still means that it could be in the key of E minor, but what we call the E natural minor, or the E Aeolian mode. Not only that, it could be that the tune is modal because of the fact that it could be in the Aeolian mode, but there again, it could be that it's in the Dorian mode. The Dorian mode in this case would be A minor. Can you see how many suspects you've got? It's not always so obvious. I wouldn't get too excited, Jerry Pagel and Mark Riegert, in thinking that you have busted this case. I appreciate that at the time it was something that you wanted to get cleared up and to do it as quickly as possible. But I fear that in your haste you have overlooked as some of my students would do, have overlooked the information and have not taken it all in and processed it. That's all I've got to say. Bye for now.